joining me again for part 7 in this series of videos on using ashlar-vellum's graphite. Up till now, we've drawn a simple part and learned how to use stroke commands. We filleted and chamfered corners, added holes, made edits to the drawing, and dimensioned it. Now we're going to add cross-hatching, show you how to stretch an entity, and how to rotate the part. Later we'll finish up with printing a drawing. Whether you're using Mac or Windows, the process is the same. We've drawn and dimensioned our part. Now we'll add cross-hatching, indicating the part is made of steel. Double-click the selection tool to select everything in the drawing. From the menu, choose Pen, Crosshatch. In the dialog box, click the ISO radio button for that set of standards. Select Steel and click Apply. We'll close the dialog box and click in the drawing area to deselect the part. We're going to save this under the original name, Part 1, preserving Part 1A as it is for another use. I'll use File, Save As, click into the file name field after the A, and then backspace or delete to remove it. Click Save. Since we already have a Part 1 in the same directory, the dialog box asks if we want to overwrite the existing file. Click Replace, and this cross-hatched version will replace the original. Next, we're going to stretch this area of the basic outline of the part and see how the cross-hatching redraws. To begin, using the selection tool, I'm going to hold down the mouse key and drag a selection fence around this lower point. If the point doesn't appear, that means we need to turn on selectable points. From the menu, use Edit, Selectable Points. Let's try again. And there's our point. Now we're going to use the Drafting Assistant's construction lines to help reposition this point. Drag the point up to the upper endpoint of the -55-degree line so that the vertical construction line appears, but don't release the mouse yet. With the mouse button still pressed, drag down to the intersect point of that line and the horizontal line through the lower circle's midpoint. Now release the mouse. The part and its cross-hatching is redrawn. Once again, let's save our Part 1 file. Now that the part is complete, let's rotate it so that the left line of the cutout sits horizontally. Double-click the selection tool to select the entire part. From the Transformation subpalette, select the Rotate tool. The message line reads, Rotate, pick center of rotation, and then in brackets, Shift equals Select, Option equals Copy. If I were on Windows, it would say Control equals Copy. We want to specify the pivot point, or the center point of rotation, by clicking the lower endpoint of the left side of the cutout down here. Now, just as the message line directs, we want to pick the beginning reference point, or the point that is to move, by picking that point moved in the last exercise, over here. Finally, again following the message line, pick the ending reference point on the horizontal construction line across the bottom of the part, showing where we want this point to end up. The part rotates. Notice that the dimensions changed to reflect the new orientation. Let's reduce the visual display of this part and work with the Zoom tool in a different way. From the Zoom palette, choose the Zoom Out tool. The message line reads, Zoom Out, pick area to zoom. Then in brackets, Option equals Zoom In. If I were using Windows, it would say Control equals Zoom In. Click a location near the larger hole. The view zooms out. Click it again, and the part gets even smaller. Notice in the status line, the scale changes with the view. If I wanted the view at a specific scale, I could type it here. Instead, I'm going to hold the Option key and click the Zoom tool again. The Option key changes it from Zoom Out to Zoom In. That's another of Graphite's neat little time-saving tricks. We're done with this, so let's save our file. Wow, in this video we've covered cross-hatching, stretching, and rotating a part. In our final video, we'll talk about printing a drawing. I'm Julie Bowe. Thanks for joining me.